Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another Pioneer deck tech. Today, we're going to be talking about $50 Mono Red Devotion and Pioneer. I've been wanting to bring this list to you for a while. I've been tuning it for a little while now, and I'm really happy to share the list with you. As always, at the end of the video, let me know in the comment section below what you think about the list. What would you change? Is there a card that I definitely should have added? And as always, if there's any suggestions that you have for an upcoming video or a deck that you'd like to see in this little mini series, just let me know in the comment section. So, alright, Mono Red Devotion. Obviously, you know, people play a lot of the mono green devotion. There's even a little bit of like blue devotion. You know, people don't really talk about mono red devotion a lot. Well, luckily, I'm able to bring a budget list, which is very, very fun. It's fast. It hits hard. There's really annoying creatures that are actually surprisingly very, very good against the Pioneer metagame. So we're going to hop right into it here. We're playing 4 Fanatical Firebrand and 4 Soulscar Mage as our 1-drops of choice. Fanatical Firebrand obviously is fast. You know, you can pick off smaller creatures like, for instance, Llanowar Elves. Very, very good at taking care of those. Obviously, you can get chip damage on really anything. Just a great card. You know, 1/1 for 1 with haste with a lot of upside. Soulscar Mage is really, really good, mostly because all of our burn spells that we're playing shrinks our opponent's creatures, and, you know, we don't have a ton of prowess in the deck for the most part, but we can take advantage of it. But the main reason we're doing it is the -1/-1 counters is a very, very good effect to have with a lot of the different cards that we're playing. We're also playing 4 Burning Tree Emissary, obviously fantastic. If you're playing a devotion deck that's red or green, you've got to be playing Burning Tree Emissary. It just makes an insane amount of mana. It's just great. It's just great. Counts for 2 red pips, and it's a 2/2. You know, good rate, does a lot of really good things for our deck. We're also playing 4 Bonecrusher Giant, obviously just a staple card in red. If you're playing red in Pioneer, generally you're going to be playing some copies of Bonecrusher Giant, and in this case we're going to be playing 4 copies. It's really sweet. We can go like turn 1 do, turn 2 Burning Tree, like Stomp Your Creature is a pretty good one. It's just nice because we have something to be able to play, you know, with the red and green mana. But, you know, it's also just a 4/3 for 3 with a really, really good rate. So, obviously, Bonecrusher Giant is an auto-include. So, as our spicy 3-drops, I'm really happy that we're playing this card in a list. We're playing 4 Boros Reckoner. I know I teased a little while on the channel. I posted a picture of it. I'm very excited. I've always loved Boros Reckoner. I've won a lot with it. I've lost a lot. I've lost to it a lot in general. Boros Reckoner is just a very, very fantastic card. What's really unique about Boros Reckoner is obviously it has red, white as its casting cost, so you can play it for red and or white decks. But whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player. Obviously, it makes our opponents not really want to block it, especially with their bigger creatures. But whenever it's still damage, it's dealing that much damage to target creature player. What's not to like about Boros Reckoner? Obviously, if our opponent's just playing some big, massive creatures, they're not really going to want to. They're not going to want to attack into it, and they're not really going to want to block it. So, Boros Reckoner, fantastic card. We're also playing 4 Goblin Chain Whirler. Really, really good with Soulscar Mage's -1, with the -1/-1 counter static ability it has. So that way, even if we don't kill our opponent's creature, it gets a -1/-1 counter. So it's just permanent damage that stays on the creature. So Goblin Chain Whirler, very, very good card. Having multiples of these on the battlefield makes our opponents not really be able to attack very easily for the most part, just because, you know, we get a bunch of first strikers out and then they really can't attack efficiently. So Goblin Chain Whirler, fantastic card in the deck. So rounding out our creatures, we're playing 2 Torbrand, Thane of Red Fell, obviously great whenever a red source, which luckily for us, all the cards in our deck are red sources pretty much that deal damage. It's going to deal an additional 2 damage. So Torbrand just very, very good. Also adds 3 red devotion, which is very relevant for our next card on the list, Fanatic of Mogis. 4/2 for 4. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to your devotion to red. So all the red pips that we have is just going to be dealing more damage. It's just more damage on top of more damage. So Fanatic of Mogis is definitely the most important card in the deck. It's how we just blast our opponent for a ton of damage. Very, very unique card. Definitely doesn't see a ton of play, obviously, because you need to be playing red devotion. So Fanatic of Mogis, very, very cool card, just in general. Rounding out our curve, we're playing 4 Glory Bringers as well. You know, what's a red deck, especially in a budget format or a budget deck that does not play Glory Bringer? Glory Bringer is absolutely a fantastic card. When it's attacking, it's most likely going to be taking down another creature as it's attacking. Again, works really well with Torbrand. It gets to deal 6 damage instead of 4, adds 2 red pips for Fanatic of Mogus. What's not to like about Glory Bringer? Card is absolutely fantastic. So our last cards we've got to talk about in our main board here, we were playing 1 Chandra Torch of Defiance. I had 1 red flex slot in the deck, kind of in the 4-drop slot. I decided to just play another Chandra. Chandra's fantastic. You know, even though the card is really cheap now, it is still very, very powerful. This card is around like $2-3. If you don't have copies of Chandra Torch of Defiance, I would highly recommend picking them up. The card is way too good to be that cheap just in general. So go pick up your Chandra Torch of Defiance. Why not? I remember when they first came out and there was like a $40 card. So just go get them right now. Just go get them right now. I actually pause the video and go get them right now. But anyways, rounding out our removal spells, we're also playing 2 Obliterating Bolts. I wanted a little bit more removal in the deck, and Obliterating Bolt is the one that I chose just because, you know, we can hit creatures or planeswalkers. The Exile can be very, very relevant, especially against cards like Old Growth Troll. It's just a great card in general. Obliterating Bolt, what's not to like about it? 2 mana, 4 damage. It's a pretty good rate for Pioneer. So that's all of our main board except for our lands. We're playing 2 Den of the Bugbears, 4 Raminap Ruins, and 1 Sekenzan. Den of the Bugbear normally would be a 4 of, but obviously we are on a $50 limit here, so that's why we only fit in 2 Dens. Raminap is absolutely fantastic. It's late game extra damage. That does not get added with Torbrand. I want to mention that as well. Lands are colorless, for those who didn't know, so Torbrand does not, you don't deal 4 damage when you sacrifice the Raminap Ruins. Just figured I would mention that. Sekenzan obviously is free. There's no reason for us not to play it. Then rounding out our lands, we're playing 1 Castle Embereth. I wanted another good late game sink, so that's why I decided to play the Castle Embereth. And as our basic land choice of the day, I decided to do the White Border 8th edition John Avon lands. The art itself is fantastic. You know, I feel like it just, I don't know, it really speaks to me on a spiritual level, but also the fact that it's a white border land, which just pisses so many people off. So that way, not only are we just mono-redding them to death, but we're also playing white border basics on top of that, just for the extra little bit of salt. Some people will think it's cool, but some people it'll just drive them nuts. So anyways, that is our entire main board. So we're going to go over the sideboarding guide a little bit here. So obviously the staple, Graveyard Hate. Definitely going to want to be packing some Graveyard Hate. In this case, we were playing a budget deck. Tormod Script is the best option. Heck, I like Tormod Script even when we're not on a budget deck. But anyways, that's the best option. Or you could also run Soul Guide Lantern if you maybe wanted to try to go for like a weird Obosh. Oh, I don't want to say weird, but an Obosh build. Flexible removal. So in terms of budget specifically, mostly referring to cards like a Braid. You know, we can deal 3 damage to a creature or destroy an artifact. You know, Obliterating Bolt just because it can hit, you know, it can hit creatures or planeswalkers, which is fantastic. In terms of budget, that's kind of the main options I would recommend sticking with. And then local meta hate. So this is kind of broad for the most part. A lot of this comes down to, what does your local meta game look like? Is there a lot of mono green? Play some Damping Spheres, maybe even a Grafdigger's Cage. Is there a ton of spirits? Rending Volley, Lithomantic Barrage. Is there a ton of Greasefang? Obviously, we're playing the Tormod Scripts, you know, bring in some Rending Volleys, that kind of thing. Really just whatever your local metagame is looking like, go ahead and adjust to that. If there's a ton of like, you know, that's a terrible example because it's not red, but let's say there's a ton of blue-white control, or like you just want to be able to get rid of, you know, like blue-white control in spirits, pack some fries in your sideboard. Why not? Just kind of adjust to essentially your local metagame. Whatever's going on there, go ahead and just pack cards in the sideboard that are able to beat those decks. So that is the entire deck tech. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. This was a really, really fun deck to talk about. I'm definitely interested in playing this on one of our upcoming Pioneer Showdowns, potentially, which, for those who don't know, we do paper magic content on the channel. If you'd like to check out one of those videos for yourself, the video will be on screen right now. I'll just go ahead and throw one on there. I don't even know which one it's going to be yet, but just feel free to check that out. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about the deck? And I'll catch you in the next one.